All right, my friends, I'm going to challenge you to get control of your health, and I'm going to have this challenge for you, and I'm going to tell you what you need to do. If you're not doing it already, I'm going to ask you to do it. The number one issue we have to contend with is bad health. There's no other way around that. No other way around that. I was talking to a pharmacist yesterday. The guy's been in the business for a long, long time. Moved from the Northeast to the Southeast. He's 64, 65 years old, something like that. And I just said, what is happening? And I told him the story I've told a couple times. This guy, Jack Spirko, who I follow from the Survival Podcast, made a point a couple or 3 years ago that's prescient. He said, and he's about 2 years younger than me, similar path than mine, actually. He was in Honduras and Panama. I think he was in Panama. But anyway, he was in the infantry, though. He's a diesel mechanic. But anyway, long story short, he said, when we were growing up, there's no fat kids. There might be one. There's like one fat kid. Hey, there's Joe. He's a fat kid. And now it's like half, if not more, are fat kids. You know what I'm saying? It's now if you're skinny, you're almost wondering if your parents should be sent in front of the Child Protective Services because they're not feeding enough. Because skinny sticks out like a sore thumb, whereas before it used to be the fat kid. In fact, it's funny. So me and this pharmacist were talking. He said, just look at Woodstock. Everyone there looked like they freaking hadn't eaten in days. That six-pack abs before we even knew what six-pack abs were. So it's funny. And then if you think about the singer for Canned Heat, I'm going to the country, which is a takeoff from a black blues musician, by the way. I did not know that until just the other day. But anyway, going to the country, don't you want to go? But that guy was heavy, overweight. I don't know if he's fat. I don't know what his issue was, but he was a fat kid in a sea of skeletons, essentially. It's crazy. Do you know, by the way, there's a flu epidemic a pandemic going on during Woodstock, and yet they didn't have masks. They all survived. Kind of crazy. Why is the COVID ravaging some population? Well, it's because they're not healthy. It's just a fact, man. They're just not healthy. Their bodies have poor immune system. Their bodies are overweight. Their bodies have comorbidities. And going back to my pharmacist, he says because everyone doesn't want to take responsibility today. He goes, the one thing I've seen different over the last 30 years is because now people don't want to do anything on their own. They just want a drug. Give me a drug. Give me a drug. Give me a drug. Give me a drug for whatever ails me. Give me a drug that fixes it. He goes, there is no drug. There is no drug. What fixes, you need to freaking do this one thing, which is go for a walk. 1 mile a day. Just tell yourself, I'm going for a walk 1 mile a day. If you can walk 1 mile a day, that will change everything in your health. It really will. Get the fresh air, get that vitamin D. That's why the whole lockdown thing pissed me off so. Now, I'll never forget this. I was taking a walk. Just when I used to take Pablo for a walk before I got my treadmill. And I said this before he got Finney, by the way. And there they are. Can you see them? Look at those puppies. Wait, can you see them? Let's see. There they are. There they are. Hi, puppies. Oh, good boys. And this is February of last year when they're locking people down. I said, this is nuts. Get outside. Breathe the fresh air. Get some vitamin D. It's healthy for you. This is good. It's bad to be sitting at home scared off your butts because of COVID. That's bad for your stress, bad for your immune system. But you also need vitamin D. You also need fresh air. I was saying that back in February. And people are like, where's your mask? You need a mask. I was like, I'm not wearing a mask. Don't care. I'm not wearing a mask. Anyway, the point being is that I was sitting there, and people were like, they said, don't blame me, blame Trump. Don't blame me, blame China. Don't blame me, blame everybody else, but don't blame me. I need a drug. I need a drug. I need a drug. That'll fix me up. It's just like, you look at Mexico today, man. Mexico apparently is the most obese country in the world. Mexico. And when I think Mexico, first of all, from a labor perspective, I think Mexicans, my goodness, they're freaking the hardest workers I've ever met, for the most part. Now, I know some of what we think of Mexicans are probably Guatemalans and stuff, but most of those Central American folks from Mexico freaking bust their butts. It's hard to imagine them being obese, but apparently that's what's true, Mexico. Well, it's the corn they eat, Josh. The GMO in the corn. Nah, that's not true. Mexicans have been eating corn for freaking ages. It's not true. Well, there's only GMO corn. Okay, 80% of corn now is GMO. I get it. That's not the issue. It's not GMO corn that's causing it. It's all the other crap that's causing it, man. The processed food, the lack of exercise. And we're just as bad in the U.S. Now there's no more fat kid. Now they're all fat kids, except if you're not. It's like you've been starved at home. I'm telling you, they're going to call CPS on you if you have your kids. And the reason is that simple. You got two-parent families, and both parents, when they get home at night, they're too tired to want to cook. And as such, they just go get something to take out on the way home. It's horrible. It's full of sugar. It's just full of crap. Look, I'm guilty too. Guilty of sin. And so we're getting fat. We're getting heavy. We're losing our immune system. You know, our life expectancy dropped a year. You know, attribute that to COVID, that's fine. But you got to say, well, what is the cause of people dying from COVID? Well, it's freaking comorbidities, being fat, bad immune system. Give me a drug, give me a drug. And I don't know. I will say it's because two-parent income families. I get that for sure. Because that does stress you out. No, look, hell, we've been there. We know what it's like to come home and be like, I just don't feel like cooking. Let me just go get some. I get it. Or at worst, let me get something delivered. You've been sitting in your cubicle all day. You come home, sit at home all day. You get some food. You don't do anything. Look, I'm saying this I know this, man. And then you eat this crap. It's full of just nothing but sugar, nothing but high carbs. You know, like I was listening to somebody said the freaking patties at Burger King are like 85% corn, which is GMOs, which is freaking fructose. I don't know what it is. I mean, whatever that crap is in there. You're like, this is bad. It's bad. And you're sitting there thinking, we're eating all this crap. We're not getting any exercise. We're not getting any sun. We're not getting any fresh air. We're stressed out. We're sitting in traffic an hour each way. Hell, we're probably drinking those crappy Starbucks. They're my Coca-Colas and stuff. Apparently, that's one of the reasons Mexico is so obese, because they like Coke, sugary drinks. I guess that's the number one drink is like sugary Cokes or something like that. And it's just horrible, man. And the same thing here. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, on top of that, what did Reagan sign in 1986 or something like that? He signed the act that allowed the pharmaceuticals to be exempt from lawsuits because of vaccines. All right, so we've been hammered about vaccines, our pharmaceutical industry. All right, and like whatever you want to say about that, I don't care. And anyone who challenges, like, is this safe, is looked at like, oh my goodness, you must be a flat earther, or whatever. But so essentially, pharmaceuticals have a free reign there, but that has somewhat fled into the other pharmaceuticals that, you know, these prescription drugs. So it's not just we say pharmacies are safe for vaccines, but the prescription drugs are safe too. And then they started being able to advertise in, 97? So Clinton signed that. Hey, buddy, with the Republican Congress. Clinton signed the ability to advertise for pharmaceuticals. And now we got pharmaceuticals advertised like crazy. It's the biggest form of advertising I see on TV other than, the local lawyer, for car crashes and whatnot. So you got pharmaceuticals. Everyone thinks vaccines, I tell you, if you can freaking I say all the time, my dogs could go number 2. You could put the name vaccine on it. People say it's safe. So you got two-parent families eating crap. No one's getting outside, getting fresh air. And then you got vaccines that have allowed us to think that the drugs inherent in pharmaceutical industries are naturally going to save us. And we want to blame other people. It's us. It's me too, man. And why? Well, because we have to have a two-parent family, two-income family, keep up with the Joneses with this house right here. You know what I'm saying? It's just-in-time inventory. We want the convenience. I'm telling you. So how do you fight it? Well, I think first and foremost, you just got to say, I got to go for a walk. Just go for a walk. 1 mile a day. A mile is 15 minutes, basically. Go for a 15-minute walk. Just get some fresh air. Go for a 15-minute walk a day. This whole thing where our life expectancy is declining, there are more and more fat kids, and I don't say that with any demeaning nature at all. I'm telling you, I feel bad for them because it's going to be a tough life. I got 4 kids, man. You know what? We're eating some tuna for lunch, but I know we're eating potato chips. It was funny, when I was growing up, we didn't have any of that crap. None. There's no chips. And now on my own cupboards, got chips all over the place. I'll give them a treat. Well, the treat it's like a daily thing. Hell, when I was growing up, you could have a dessert once a week. We have, desserts every day. This guy included. And we don't get the exercise we used to. We don't walk to school. We get the crap, and it just, and then we want the vaccine to solve. I guess they say it's vaccine, but we want the big pharma to save us from ourselves. Anyway, man, can you do it? Can you go for 1 mile walk a day? And it can't be 7 miles on Sunday and none the rest of the week. It's got to be every day. Every day. It's 15 minutes, man. 15 minutes. Can you do it? I think it'll solve everything. I think it will. Not everything. I think it'll solve a lot. It drives me up the wall. I just sit there and think of Mexico. Because, it's not that the Mexican food is any worse than it used to be. It's not that the Mexican people are any different than they used to be. It's the stuff we're consuming throughout the world, man. And it's not GMOs. It's not the pharma. It's just this modern society of just-in-time inventory, convenience, and it's literally killing us. It's sad. All right, we'll see you.